Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. It is Soulful Saturday. Who is here? Who is in the house? I am getting ready to go to the gym. Decided to go in the afternoons when it's a lot less crowded. And, it's just, this is how I'm going to do it. We have people coming in to say hello. Are you ready for this? Hello, who's there? Here come the folks. Are you guys getting your notifications? I sure hope so. Notifications are always a good thing. Let's see, where is my quote of the week? Oh no, what did I do with it? There it is. All right. Got the new quote of the week. We do all kinds of new things on Saturday. We're getting ready. We kind of start the week with our Soulful Saturdays. And I will be on tomorrow because tomorrow is the last day of the sprint. And I want to keep everybody encouraged, keep you going forward. And, it's a good time to do this. It's a really good time to be doing this. I like to get my mind, I don't know about you guys, but I want to be not thinking about the news right now. I'm just up to here. I've had enough. And I need encouragement and I need things that make me light up, make me less stressed. Good, happy Saturday to you, Marianne. I was just going to say good afternoon. Good afternoon. I think you're in California, but good morning to you in California. Good to see you. Come on in. Yeah, I think we've all kind of hit that threshold of enough is enough is enough. We don't need to understand and know absolutely every jot and tittle of what's going on. What we need to do is take good care of ourselves, right? Hi, Donna. Hi, Joanne. Good to see you. Come on in, guys. Yeah, I'm glad to see everybody. We are, you don't want to be in a panic. You don't want to be dumb. You want to be smart. You want to go about your life. But, I just read a thing that they were like, they've got people who are waiting outside of grocery stores to get in. And this panic business and this hoarding and all of this stuff, it just concerns me. It really concerns me that we have that kind of a mentality going on. So I just want to invite us all to just take a moment to center. And I do hope you're doing your soul work. I do. I hope that you are meditating and working with, taking your supplements, eating well, and that you're not defaulting to binging on TV, too much news, that you're not defaulting to binging on eating a bunch of crap food. And, this is insane. What we need to be doing is taking really excellent, extraordinary care of ourselves right now. When we have a heightened immune system and when we are doing things that are smart, like washing our hands frequently, using those antiseptic wipes when we go to the gym and what have you. I wipe everything down before I even use it. And then I wipe it all down afterwards with the antiseptic wipes that they supply. Marianne just said, shelves are empty here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't even know what to say. I hope that we're getting through the worst of this right now. And I'm just going to be the voice of reason right now for you, I hope. And that is just that getting your sleep, getting de-stressing, meditating, prayer, journaling, all of this is what is going to help to keep you on an even keel. We don't want to join the throngs of people going nuts. We want to be in the place of being centered, being one with our God, and being one with our own souls. We have this thing called the beautiful self, and in it houses our connections, the connections that we so deeply need. And when we are connected, we're not panicked. When we're connected, we can breathe deep and we can know that all is well in my soul. I love that hymn. All is well. Right? Let's stay. Can we agree that we're there, that we're in the all is well place? Pinky swear, ladies. Our quote of the week this week I love, and it's an old one. It's a 15th century philosopher, poet, Hafiz. I don't even know how to say his name. But it's this: the words you speak become the house you live in. How do you love that one? Do you love that one? The words you speak become the house you live in. We create our reality, really, just by the words we speak. We attract in the things that we attract in. And we are constantly, our brains are constantly looking for evidence to support ourselves, right? To support what it is that we're believing. There's this thing called confirmation bias out there too, and that's an interesting thing to study. I've been studying that a little bit lately. And we all look for the things that we want to support what we believe. So I want us to be supportive and be supporting of things that are beautiful, the things that are true, the things that are everlasting, and things that are magnificent, warm, gorgeous, beautiful, that are soul blessing, that don't tear us down, that build us up. There's such a huge difference in living that way. When we're living in a fear-based way, we're out standing in line waiting for toilet paper, right? At a grocery store somewhere, and talking to everyone around us on how we're all going to die, or some such nonsense. But when we're coming from a place that is not fear-based, we're coming from a place of understanding that this too shall pass. This will pass at some point. We're not going to have this around forever and ever. Amen. And we know too that there are good people out there working on our behalf to make this all come to an end. And that we are also one with our God, who's never going to leave us, never going to forsake us, and never take us out just for any old reason, right? We are loved. We are beloved. We are a child of the Most High King. Let's never, ever forget that. Putting everything into perspective. It is Soulful Saturday. We have in us this place in our hearts that needs to be fed, and especially right now. Especially right now. If you're not tending the garden of your beautiful self, it's neglect. It's neglect. It will never, ever, ever be all about your jean size. It will never, ever, ever be about the muffin top and all of that. And if that's the entirety of your life, you're missing out. And this is why we have this whole alignment series that is starting tomorrow. I hope you got signed up for it. You just go to savingdinner.com/align, ALIGN. And it's a free series, and it's just showing and kind of giving you the philosophy. This is what I've been studying over the last year and a half, and it brought all the things together on how this is not just about getting into the stupid jeans. It's not. It's not about bikini life, living in abs of steel and all of that garbage. It's not. It's about the quality of your life. It's about the quality of your life. And when you are holistically connected to mind, body, and soul, everything starts to snap together. Am I right? Have you seen that? There's my girl, Vanessa. This is what happens. We start to connect, and we start to see the pieces of the puzzle fall in. We start to feel educated and powerful, and we're coming from a different place than just trying to hurry up and get into those darn jeans. You're worth so much more than a pair of jeans, the color of your lipstick. Nobody's ever going to say, oh, she was so wonderful. Did you see what color of lipstick she wore? She was the most wonderful person. They're not going to eulogize you according to your jeans. They're going to eulogize you according to the quality of your life. And that's why I say it's not about this, even though we do want that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting those smaller jeans. But it can't be the whole be-all, end-all. When that happens, we lose our lives to nothingness. We lose our lives to nothingness, and we lose the journey. We lose the people we meet along the way. We lose the beauty of the things that we're learning. This is our connection to our souls. It really is. It is that deep of a thing. And so we're going to talk about some of that. I've got some stuff lined up for you to talk about, and I hope you do take notes. I've got a lot of gals who are on here who take notes every time, And I appreciate them. My lunch buddy Cassie is here. I saw her pop in. And I also appreciate all of you who share. Sharing is caring. And I give out a mindful mug every other Friday for the person who shared the most and has told somebody about this broadcast, shared it publicly. It really helps, right? So here's what I want you to do is share this publicly, say a little something about it. I look at the list. I look at who has shared it. And if I say, wow, they're really getting it, that mindful mug is going to be in the mail to you. All right? I like that. Also, you want a mindful mug? Order $250 worth of supplements. Not hard to do when you're stocking up. And I'm not saying hoarding. I'm saying stocking up. And we'll put a mindful mug in there. And if you're wise, you'll put in the proactive probiotic. Because this is how we feed our gut flora. This is how 70% of our immune system is in our guts, you guys. 70%. This is how we keep them healthy. We have to look at that. And then you get free shipping. Just put ships free and away we go. With anything you buy. So fill up your cart. Fill it all up. Do it. And this is what I'm drinking. It's hot melt mix. We are currently out. Everybody, you guys bought me out. We have our new hot melt mix coming very soon. It's probably going to be in the next week. So keep your fingers crossed for all of that stuff. You know, with all of the things going on, goodness gracious, it's crazy. All right. Also, never forget, Q&A is every single Friday, and I love answering your questions and helping you out. You know, I'm always going to give you I'm always going to tell you to do your own research. But if you ask me a question, I will answer it. Just send them in to support@savingdinner.com, and in the subject line, put question for Leanne on Friday. It will get to me. And on Friday, show up because your question will be answered. We always answer them. Same time, same bat channel. And that is it. I gave you the lowdown. So today I want to talk about our soul work, the soul work that we need to do, and what I've found to be a very useful, very helpful tool with all of this as you're trying to, connect all the dots, because aren't there a lot of dots to connect, is that reflecting on just, what's going on. And especially when we start to see the same pattern of things show up again and again in our lives. And I think, when we keep going back to that, we keep dipping our toe into that same pool, it's like God is sending out smoke signals like, sister, you haven't learned your lesson yet. You haven't learned your lesson yet. So when we're experiencing something, especially when we're experiencing something that we don't like, or something's coming back and, maybe we haven't looked at it, there's a little something there. There's a little check mark on that box, and we have to take a look at it. And so we have to look at, all of it. We have to look at what is going on. What are the circumstances? How am I experiencing this again? And am I defensive about it? So let's just say, for example, you've got a family member who's, pushing back on you because you're saying something. They're saying you're a little rough, you're a little aggressive, you're a little too harsh, you're a little too whatever. And you're saying, but I'm just saying the truth, which I'm talking about this because, that's me. I can get real truthful and probably too harsh. I've shared that with you before. So what do? Should I deflect? Do I blame? Do I strike back and say, well, you just can't handle the truth? You remember that movie? You just can't handle the truth. No, there is a lesson there to be learned. There's something to be connected to. And the connection and the experience right there is to look and say, it's not about your words, it's about the delivery. And so that has got to be looked at. And nobody's ever going to be condemning for telling the truth, right? The truth is, we hear in the Bible, the truth is what sets you free. But the truth doesn't have to be delivered with a ton of bricks with it, does it? We can deliver the truth and not soft pedal, and not be in the terms of just kind of, dancing around the bush. We can say, this is a tough thing to say, but here's the truth of something. This is something that's been on my heart, and especially it's tough, right, to do the confrontation thing, especially when somebody's maybe lying to you or not telling you the whole truth or whatever it is, and you have to go in front of it and say, hey, this isn't working out. Well, saying it in a gentle way is one thing, but saying it in a way where you're just dancing around the bush is another thing entirely. Yes, you need to deliver the goods, so to speak, deliver the news that this is not the best thing in the world, but you can do it in a way that's gentle and kind. And even say, I don't know how to, or if it's hard, you can even say, look, I don't even know how to be gentle and kind about this. All I know is that you are, this is the issue. And we have to look at too the things that trigger us. Why are they triggering us? Why is this a trigger? I mean, people are loving the word trigger all the time. It's trigger this, trigger that. This might be triggering. This triggers you, and this triggers me, and blah blah blah. And sometimes I just think, man, everybody's so hypersensitive, aren't they? This is triggering. But let's look at it from the place of what is it that makes you go eek inside? What is it the thing that is the tender spot somebody can push on? Use the word trigger. And we have to figure out what triggers our tranquility. Like right now, when I said, stay away from the news, and we've got enough information. It's not like we don't understand what's going on. There is a virus. The virus is spread easily. There's a lot of things about it, about the virus that we can do and things that we can stay safe with, but we don't need to know every jot and tittle about it unless we're epidemiologists or whatever the heck they are. Do we? I don't know about you, but for me, I get it. I have enough information. I know how to stay safe. I know what I need to do. I don't need to trigger my tranquility anymore by overdosing on the news or overdosing on my Facebook feed, for heaven's sakes. I'm just even stopped looking at that. It's just like, are you kidding me? Stop it. That is removing my tranquility. So one of the things that happens too is that we create some drama from all of this, is that we take whatever it is that has triggered our tranquility and has triggered it, taken it away. And then we start, catastrophizing is a big word that they're starting to use all the time. We do that. But when we do this, we're doing it we don't just keep it to ourselves. Usually we spread it out. We'll do a Facebook post that has something in it that's all catastrophe oriented. We'll do a text to somebody that's all catastrophe oriented. And what happens then is that we create this cascade of catastrophe, or, even put that aside and just how we're feeling about something. So let's just say, for example, that somebody has said something to you that hurt your feelings, and your immediate thing is knee-jerk reaction and just lash back out at them. What can you do instead? And this is back to my make a list thing. I love making lists. Making lists help me to create a counter active kind of a list of things that I can do instead. It helps me because then I can think about it ahead of time. This is one of the things that we need to do. We need to start thinking about, like, where are the tender spots? Where are the places that my tranquility gets broken? How can I fix it? How can I not be this person who, when somebody pops on me, you pow right back? How can we do that? Because when we pop back, we remove our tranquility entirely, and we take away from our whole soul's work. We take away from the connection that we feel to ourselves, to God, to each other, because now everything's broken. Everything's shattered in place because it's like, I'm fuming, I'm thinking about it now. All I can think about is just, how do I get back? What am I going to say? What's a clever retort? How dare they? They've done this to me. And looking for evidence to support this break in tranquility, right? And so you get this text, so you get something or somebody says something and you just nasty text, impulse text them. Or you lash out at them and you have this big word salad bursting out of your mouth with all these words that you'll never be able to take back, that could scar and hurt someone horribly. Or you just, the other thing you do is you just bottle it up. You don't say anything and you simmer and you simmer. And it's like on the stovetop, when you put a lid on the stovetop and it's just a low boil. But after that simmering for a while, it just starts go over. And you simmer and you're quiet and you're sullen and you're sulking and you're not saying anything. But inside, you feel your heartbeat. You feel the throb in your temples. And you're obsessed with this thought thing of, I'm not going to say anything. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's good. I'm great. So passive aggressive, it's not even funny. Or you overthink it, You overthink it. Like, well, what I should do? Maybe I should do this and maybe I should do that. Maybe I should say this. Maybe I should say that. Maybe I shouldn't say anything at all. I don't know. Maybe I should ask everybody on Facebook. Maybe I should call my mom. Maybe I should call a friend. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should just, I don't know. I feel like if I do this, it's going to be the wrong thing. Or if I do this, it's going to be the wrong thing. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to have anxiety about it. I'm going to get all excited about it. And then, oh my gosh, I can't even breathe. And I'm going to have a panic attack. Or you can live in the place of comparison. Well, look at her. She's got it together. She doesn't have all of this, but her life's perfect. I can't do that because my life and she's got it together and her life is wonderful. And she doesn't have a husband and 4 kids. And she doesn't have a husband who sits around and throws socks on the floor and scratches himself inappropriately. And I've got to have to deal with all of this and this, that, and the other thing. Oh my God, you guys, I'm just so exhausted even just going through all of this. But we all have our thing that we choose that destroys our tranquility, that ruins our soul work because we've got these internal conversations going or we're spewing, hate because of old habits. And this is soul work that has to be done. This is stuff that comes back to you. Because if you've had this happen before, if this is the way it works, and I'm not saying you do all of these or even any of them or one of them, but I'm going to bet that one of these things has kind of made you go, ooh, that's me. Because we all have something that needs work on. This is the soul work that we do. So what can we do instead? If you have a tendency to be impulsive, and either say something awful immediately that comes out of your mouth or write a nasty text or an email or something. And I think back, as I'm even saying this, I think back to all the times that I have done that. I think back to the mean things that I've said to friends and family. I think back on my getting back at them. And unfortunately, what happens with this kind of a thing, if this is you as well, is if you happen to be good with words and a writer, you can pound it out pretty quick. And that is a problem. It's a problem because you can't take it back. You can never take that stuff back. And I have just, that kind of harshness is not good for your soul. That kind of harshness, you don't want that back in return. And you have to really recognize too that we reap what we sow. If we are harsh to others, it's going to come back to us in spades. That kind of harshness needs to go. That kind of harshness needs to be looked at as no longer an option. Wise women understand that harshness does nothing. Harshness is like a corrosive chemical, and it wounds, it harms, it kills relationships. And there's no place for it. So what do you do instead? If this has been your knee-jerk reaction and then you just think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. First of all, acknowledge it, number one. All right? Just acknowledge it. I'm confessing my sins here. Acknowledge it. Write about it in your journal. And then make this list of what you can do instead. Gosh, this is so basic. You don't need any high tech for this. You don't need an app for it. You don't need a course for it. You just need a paper and a pen and the bone honesty that you can offer yourself. And then write yourself a note instead. If you want to lash out and write off a nasty email or a text or something, write yourself a note and say why this person is so awful. I promise you, you'll come back to it and go, oh, I'm so glad I wrote that note and I didn't send it. I promise you. Hand to God, you'll be so glad you didn't do it. You will be so relieved you didn't do it. And you know, I am fortunate. We got a nasty gram last week in customer service, and I was asked by Tina, you'd like, well, how do you want me to handle, like just heads up, this is what happened. And you know what? I just said, well, we'll just take her, no retort, no reply necessary. We'll just take her off of our list and we'll ban her from the Saving Dinner site, our site and everything. And usually people are never customers. They're just, big mouths. And I look at it and I think, bless their heart. And I don't mean it in a condescending way. I just mean it in a way that is like my compassion for them is that's a sad way to live. It's a sad way to live. Do you see the full circle? And the full circle is practicing exactly what I'm telling you right now. Make a list of things that you can do otherwise. What can you do otherwise? You can write it out. You don't have to live that way any longer. But it doesn't come unless it's recognized. It doesn't come unless you understand what the heck is going on. And you're able to be that honest with yourself. Let's just face it. Can we just agree that self-examination is difficult and hard and rough and can be a little bit prickly and hard to look at? You're tender, just like everybody else. And sometimes that kind of an exterior, that kind of a like knee-jerk reaction is you trying to protect yourself. But you are a beautiful soul that doesn't need to do that anymore because you're a wise woman. You're a woman who understands that that's no longer appropriate for you if you're to do the soul work that you need to be doing in your life to have the kind of life that you want. An unexamined life is not worth living. It's not. And that was said a long time ago in a book from, I think it came from Socrates or Plato, I'm not even sure. But it's the truth. We have to examine our lives, and we have to examine these kind of things that trigger the loss of tranquility in our lives. And sometimes it's of our own doing. So take a note. If you are write the dirty text or the mean text or whatever, when you feel like this is just wrong or you say something, take a breath. Don't say anything and just say, hey, can we get back to that? Can we put a pin in it and just discuss this later? I need a minute. Your brain processes from back to front, and our old lizard brain is the one that's saying, pow, 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 pow. And like I said, if you're good with words, it can get really lethal. And those words are wounding. So there's your option. Write it out. Write it out and get it into your journal and write a note instead. And if you have the lashing out thing too, another one of my things is what I would do is that's exactly what I said. Put a pin in it. And I put a pin in it with, like, when I had to say something, I really wanted to just pow, pow, pow with Mark. I said, I need some time. I need some time because I don't want to say something I'm going to regret later, but I need some time to process this. Cool? And we were good. And we walked away with an unresolved conflict, but knowing we were going to come back and resolve it. This is what wise women do. This is what grown-ups do. They don't just bam, bam. It's not like, Batman fight on TV, pow, crash, boom. We don't have to do that kind of thing. We have the option to say, not now. Let's process, let it go a little bit, and let's come back and be wise, right? You can't be wise if you're impulsive. Wisdom and impulsivity do not reside on the same plane. So that was one thing. So go take a walk. Go listen to some music. Go work out. Do something. Make your list. What can I do instead? And then we just talked about the bottling of feelings. Holy cow, you've got a whole battlefield going on inside. That bottling of feelings just doesn't work. And I will tell you also, gosh, I've done all of these. Aren't you glad I'm such a good example? But bottling of feelings, I believe with all of my heart that bottling things up is what brought on a broken thyroid for me. Your body responds to the kind of stress you put on it. And you break things inside. You break your bodily functions. Some people get migraines and headaches. Some people get stomach aches and irritable bowel and what have you. But we're all connected. The stress that we bring on ourselves, the unexpressed things that need to come out, while you've got somebody over here, me, with like blah, 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 and then other times just bottling it up. That's what I learned to do as a kid growing up in an alcoholic home. You have like, it's either inside disaster or outside disaster, And what I'm saying as a wise woman who wants to keep her tranquility and understands that we can keep our soul intact and not lose ourselves to all of this garbage, we have to process it though. And again, back to the journal. If you don't have a journal, you're missing out, Go to the dollar store and buy yourself a stack of journals and write out your heart. What do you feel inside? Where is it? What is all this bottled feeling? Take a minute to write it out. And when you feel good enough about it, then you say to a trusted friend, I've been processing all this stuff. This is what's going on inside of me. And we all have to process at some point. You can't ignore it. It won't go away. But you also have to have an outlet for it. Your journal is just that thing. And then the other thing is, if this is funny, when you start to overthink and you're just going in from 0 to 80 in no time at all to 0 to panic attack, that happened to me. I understand this. I am sharing from my secret life. That whole feeling of just like starting from that place and overthinking and not knowing what to do and indecisive and all of that, and just this buildup and this sort of avalanche of crazy town. Well, let me share with you that if you had a moment, like if you could just listen to this whole thing as if somebody was taping what you were thinking, or maybe if you even dared yourself to take your phone and do a phone memo and just start talking about what's in your head, I promise you a week later you'd come back and laugh at it. Go watch something funny and laugh. Get the release that you need. We all overthink. But if we understood and saw how really hilarious it is, maybe we would slow it down a little bit and just start saying, you know what, I'm just going to write about it in my journal instead. I am just going to unplug the emotion from all of this. That is such a tool, you guys. Being able to unplug that emotion and just saying, I'm going to save that emotion for something else. Here's what's going on. And then you just do a phone memo and just listen back to it and then think, this is hysterical. I'm off the chain. This is not true. This is not who I am. This is my crazy thinking that I'm just going to take and put over here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go watch Lucy and Ricky and laugh my butt off because I need a release. It is such a good dopamine release. And then when we get to the compare place, when we're living in the comparison zone, comparison zone, we know comparing ourselves to others is the thief of joy. The Bible tells us so. It is. And when we see ourselves doing that, why don't we start instead walking over to the place of listing all of the blessings that we have in our lives, listing and being grateful for everything. If you look at somebody in your life and say, well, yeah, she's a size 6 and I want to be a size 6, and here I am, I'm here in these tight size 12 jeans and I hate this and this, that, and the other thing, and I want to look like her. And then you just start making your list. I have these incredible children. I have such a lovely home. I have food in the refrigerator. I have toilet paper. Make a list of gratitude. Live from the place of gratitude and understand that the thief of joy is comparison, and it's robbing you, and it's robbing your soul of your purpose. Your purpose here is maybe you have it, maybe you understand it right now, and you understand what your purpose is, your mission here on this world, on this earth. But if you don't understand what it is, and you're bogged down with this stuff that's robbing you of your soul's work, then start to do some work that connects the dots so that you don't have this stuff standing in the way anymore. Because I promise you, when you start to clear the decks of all this bombardment of stuff, all this old garbage that just robs you of what your soul's work is, then you will find yourself in the place of seeing what your purpose is. Your purpose becomes clear. And I've had the privilege of coaching so many of you who are in some of my programs who have said, yeah, I'm starting to see what my soul work is. I'm starting to see I had this idea for this, and all of these things are coming into play. And the evidence for it is showing up in my life. Isn't that a beautiful thing? This is what we get to do when we start to do this kind of soul work. And this is why Soulful Saturdays are so important. So I hope that blessed you. I hope that helped you, because I want you to be able to have the tranquility in your life that you deserve. But you have to do some work sometimes to get there. We have some old stuff, don't we? We all do. That's the way it is, unfortunately. But you know the cool thing? We have the ability, we have the tools, and we have the people, and we have the know-how as wise women to be able to live the examined life we want to live. We want to live on purpose, and we want to live a life that we're playing out and participating in full out. Full out. So get yourself to savingdata.com/align and start getting the alignment series. It's a little mini series for 3 days, and I think it's going to help you to see the connection between your mind, body, and soul, and how exquisitely important this is so that you can live the life you want to. I hope that was helpful for you. I really love you guys and so appreciate you. Stay safe out there. I'm going to go have a little lunch, take a minute for digestion, and then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the gym where there are people. I love you guys. Again, peace out. I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow for the last day of our saving of our sprint. So I want to wish everyone well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.